hold two images of ourselves, one that we see in the mirror and the other that we hold deep down in our subconscious mind. And that self-image dictates everything that we do, all the actions that we take based on the self-image. So in order to change anything in our life, we have to change our self-image, the one that we hold deep down in our subconscious mind. And it's like somebody said that trying to change your results without changing your self-image that you hold in your subconscious mind is like trying to change your reflection in the mirror without changing your appearance. And that is something that is with me all the time, because it reminds me how important it is to work on your self-image, on what you think about yourself inside. And many people think when they look at their results, all their actions are determined by the past results. So that's why it's so important to make sure that first we establish what kind of image, what kind of self-image we want to hold. And it's not very difficult to find out what kind of self-image we have currently. All you have to do is look at your results right now, because your results are a direct reflection of your self-image. So in order to change this, the first step would be to create a beautiful dream of the life that you want to live. And based on that dream, then you decide what kind of person you would like to become. And the best way to do it is to write it down, actually, to write all the things that you think are lacking at the moment in your current self-image. Or in order to change something, you have to identify what you currently have. So identify all those things that don't match the image that you would like to have, and make a long list of the things that you would like to implement in your life. And that's your starting point. And then obviously it's affirmations and so many other things. I don't know, Debbie, if you want to add something to it.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that I've heard the saying before, and I believe that it's true, that we can never outperform our self-image. And so if you want to get higher results in life, if you want to get, if you really want to make this a breakthrough year, you're going to have to start. People think that we have to work on the skill sets of our company or our business, and those are important, granted. But the most important thing is truly working on our self-image, working on our. Maggie says we have to do the inside work, and it's true. That's what we have to do.
That's right, because it is very easy to forget about this. You know, when we get sort of entangled in daily trivia, we tend to think that, oh, there's so much to do. What other strategy can I find? You know, we were trying to find so many things outside of ourselves in order to change something. But the truth is that 95% of our work is inside of us. And if we get that one right, 5% will come. So it's like we were discussing, you know, it's basically another way of looking at changing your life and getting your results. Like we are always saying 95% mindset and 5% strategy. So it's the same thing, but just to break it down even more for you, it's so important to work on your self-image. And I don't know if you've read a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. I highly recommend that book. I think we've mentioned that book before. Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Molds. I highly recommend that book. It's a wonderful book. And he describes the process of how to change your self-image step by step. And he gives beautiful examples.
He was actually... Yeah, he was actually a plastic surgeon, right? He was and that was his he was a doctor, of course, and that's where he realized that, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter. Like he would perform like full facial reconstructions on people, and there would be some people, actually many people, who after he performed went through the operations, that they would still be looking at themselves the same way. So for example, like, have you ever known anybody, might not be be us, but have you ever known anybody that was heavy and lost a lot of weight, but they still looked at themselves as an overweight person or a fat person, or they just couldn't let that go? It's because they haven't changed their self-image. And that's what he saw with so many of his patients, was that no matter what he did to them, he could have made them the most beautiful person in the world, or fixed their nose, or fixed their eyes, or fixed their cheekbones, or made them look completely different. And they would still look at themselves in the mirror the same way that they looked at themselves prior to the operation. And so he really, I don't want to say came up with the theory, but he really realized that it truly is, like what Maggie says, an inside job. It truly is. You have to be able to do the inside work in order to accept and move beyond and grasp things on the outside.
Can you tell me the
Yes.
author again?
Maxwell
Maltz.
Maltz. Maxwell Maltz.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And it's a wonderful book, full of great information. It's
Yeah,
not the easiest. It's not the easiest to listen to if you're going to do. I love Audible. I don't think that one's a great Audible book. I would rather buy that one. I would rather read the book than do an Audible.
Yeah, I've noticed the same, that I prefer to read it. And because sometimes I just read the same paragraph or the same page a few times just to make sure that I understand everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, another great example of cybernetic system is the heating system in our homes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you set a thermostat at a certain temperature, and let's say you want to have 20 degrees inside your home, and then someone opens a window or door is open, and then the temperature goes down, then the thermostat sets the boiler on again to bring the temperature up to the same level that it was set at. So this is exactly what our self-image dictates. So, for example, if a person, any of us, thinks that, oh, I can earn $100,000 a year, we are programmed to earn that amount of money. And in order to earn more money than this, we have to create it's almost like create a new model of ourselves. So implant the thoughts that we can actually earn more, for example, 1 million or whatever, 10 million, whatever we want, whatever feels comfortable and believable to us. And we always recommend from the beginning, set huge goals, don't go for just a little bit more, because it has to be, the goal has to be so big that it's worthy of you. Okay, so it's not that you are worthy of the goal has to be worthy of you. And ignore all your circumstances, ignore your current situation, because this doesn't really matter. I can't remember who said that, but there was a person, somebody who said that when the dream is big enough, facts don't matter. So facts, meaning the circumstances, our current situation, it doesn't really matter, because if we want something really, really badly, we will get it if we believe in it and if we ignore present circumstances. And there was another one, Patricia something, I can't remember the name. She says, it's her quote, "Don't give me the facts, give me the truth, because the facts are always changing."
Maggie,
So
that is so, I want to jump in here for a second, because that is such a great determination that I never even realized until maybe a couple of years ago, that there's a difference between facts and truth. I
There is
never
a huge
realized that
difference.
before.
Yeah. And most people, majority of people actually, tend to think that facts are the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not so. The truth is we are perfect and we are capable of an amazing thing. We all have perfection within us. Some people refer to it our higher self.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to work with that higher self to bring out the best. We all have the same faculties. So, all the great people that have achieved so much for themselves and for, for the world, they possess exactly the same faculties, like Einstein, the Bells, the Wright brothers. They're no different to us. We may think that they are, but they really are not. We are all the same. We all have the same faculties, but it's all about self-image and how we set that self-image. that determines what results we're going to get. So we have to completely ignore our current circumstances because the facts are nothing. The facts can change at any time. But the truth is that we are capable of whatever we desire.
Right. The truth is we're creative beings. The truth is that we have more power than we can ever even imagine. The truth is that we don't even tap a fraction of our intellectual abilities, nevertheless, our spiritual abilities. So that's the truth. And like Maggie said, I used to think about it like, oh, a fact meant, if somebody's told me the fact, then I figured the fact was the truth. No, facts change. Facts change. So.
Yeah. And we have to always remember that our results, our present results, are a direct reflection of the self-image we hold about ourselves. And that's why it's so important to work on changing that self-image. It's like creating a new person.
Right, exactly. I mean, and think about the majority of people out there. You can tell by their what they have, like what Maggie just said. I mean, look at your results, and that's your self-image. So, and you're not going to rise higher than that. So once you grow your self-image, once you grow your awareness, once you start working with like-minded people, like we're doing right now, things change. And that's when growth comes in. And that's the exciting part. Yeah.
It's all about awareness and perception, our perception of ourselves. And this is the most important thing. And also it's a very good news because we don't need anything from the outside. The only thing we need to change is us. It's ourselves, 95% of that. We don't need anything from the outside. Obviously, we need people, we need to work with other people, etc. But this is not the most important thing. The majority, it's an inside work. That's what I always say. In any business I am, sometimes, you can get really frustrated if things are not going your way. I was saying, just stop, because that doesn't really matter. The main thing is to work on yourself and to study this material, to work on your goals, to read your goal card every morning, to affirm your goals and whoever you want to become. A good way to do it is to think of, minimum five people that you admire. And it doesn't have to be one person that you admire. You don't have to admire everything in that one person, but choose 5 people that you admire in something. It could be, in their career, it could be their personality, it could be their looks, and pick the best things that you like about those people, write them down. And that way, that could help you actually create your own image. And you have to go through all the areas of your life. So, the way you want to look, the way you want to talk, the way you want to interact with other people, the way you treat other people, what kind of career you want to have, what kind of money you want to earn, what kind of house you want to live in, and slowly become that person in your mind initially, because everything starts from the mind. So we have to first create that image in our mind and live there and behave as a person. I do it very often. Sometimes when I wash the dishes or I do something in the kitchen, I'm like in a totally different, like in a parallel world. So I am me, but I'm not me. I'm that person that I want to become.
But isn't that what actors and actresses do on a regular basis?
Exactly.
So just if you pretend that you're an actress, and I know that sounds a little hokey, but really pretend that you're an actress and start taking what you want to emulate from different people, and internalize it and start practicing your lines, your thinking, the way, think the way they think, act the way, move the way they move, dress the way they dress. So. Yeah,
that's really a good idea. And some people may say it's copycatting someone, but it's really not. There's nothing wrong with being inspired by people who you admire,
right?
Because it will still be you. You're not becoming them. it will still be you, but you're just picking the best attributes of that person. And it's a really, really great way. And what Debbie said about feeling like being an actress, that's exactly what it should be like. And you don't have to tell anybody. Nobody has to know. But
yeah, please don't tell everybody.
Yeah, people may think you're crazy
Yeah.
that you do it, but it really does work. And millions of people have used this strategy, and it works. It's a great explanation, because this is what working from the end means.
Mm-hmm.
That you first have to become that person in your mind, and then it materializes on the physical plane. Shall we go into some questions? Do you have any questions, or do you want to brainstorm a bit on that?
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on it? Do you find it hard to wrap your head around? Are you starting to think of things that you can do? What are your thoughts on it?
Starting to see how it applies, like how my self-image now does reflect my results. Hadn't really thought of it before.
Yeah, because that's what we tend to think. We tend to think that something outside of us is controlling our life, that not everything is actually in our hands. We tend to think that, things are happening to us.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas as soon as we realize that actually we make things happen, we have the full control of it. And when we become observant of this, and when we become aware that this is the way it actually works, then we notice things. And it's easier to change different aspects of your life if you are aware of that, because many people aren't. They just live their lives reacting to what's happening around them, and they feel that they can control some aspects of their lives, but very minimal aspect actually. Whereas as a matter of fact, we control majority of what's happening around us.
Yeah, daunting was a good word, Sarah.
Yeah,
sorry.
And it's all connected. The other things that we've discussed, the frequencies, the way we feel, it's all connected. Because if you are feeling low, if you are on a low vibration, obviously we don't say, if you ask somebody, how are you feeling? Nobody will answer you, I'm in a low vibration. I'm just not feeling happy at the moment. But what it is really, we are in a low vibration. So in order to feel better, we have to go up there to a higher frequency, on a higher vibration, to lift our energy, to lift our spirits, to feel better, and then we attract better things, basically, and positivity, positive thoughts. So it's all connected. And I hope you are starting to see how all those little aspects make it I don't know how to say it.
They all come together.
They all come together. Yes, it's like pieces of the puzzle, but there is still a lot to it. So it's so important to listen to it all the time, and work on it, and work with your notebooks, make notes, and one by one, don't try to change everything at once, because our subconscious mind doesn't work that way. It has to be, you just pick one or two things maximum and work on them, and until don't start working on another thing until this one thing or two is already to your satisfaction.
Okay.
Because otherwise it will be confusing and very difficult. So it's best to focus on something that is the most important thing. So if you were to change just one thing to start with, what would that be? What would that one thing that would make you really happy if you could change that? And as we discussed in the past, it is psychologically proven that it takes a minimum of 21 days to change a habit, or to change something, or to implement a new habit. I don't know, maybe you want to start waking up early. There's a lot of people that do sort of 5 a.m. club, where they wake up at 5 a.m. because that gives them more time to do things. If they don't have time to study, that's how you find time to study. You basically wake up slightly earlier. I used to do 5 a.m. club, but not anymore. I don't need that anymore, because no matter what time I wake up, I always find time for this, because this is, for me, this is majority of my work. If I don't do this, nothing else is going to work. So for me, this is my work. I need to make sure that when I start my day, I'm in the right vibration, because otherwise, things are not going to fall into place the way I want them to.
Is there a way to, sometimes when you're on a low vibration, to get to the other one, even if you're not feeling it, but you know that you have to get there? You know what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, the way you feel, when you are in a really low vibration, is an illusion, because we are manufacturing those thoughts ourselves. When you think about it really deeply, what's happening when you sit at home feeling really down and sad, what is really happening? We are manufacturing those thoughts ourselves, and it is up to us to change those thoughts. And it is quite difficult at the beginning, but once you are aware, you can change it like that. And sometimes, it happens to me. Sometimes I know that I'm not in the right vibration. I know it, and I stay there. And I know I'm doing the wrong thing. I know I should just flip the switch, but I stay there. But you are aware, okay? So you are aware of it. Nothing is happening outside of you. We are manufacturing those thoughts. When we worry about something that is going to happen tomorrow, it hasn't happened yet. Okay. Or what might be, that's why there's another book, The Power of Now, that I highly recommend. That was a huge one for me, because that just gives you a really detailed overview how important it is to live here and now, rather than in the past or in the future. Because we tend to think about the past a lot, things happened, and then, things might happen as a result. I mean, the past should stay in the past. There's nothing we can do about it. And the future hasn't happened yet. So why do we worry about the future? I mean, if we worry about the future, we are attracting, those things will happen if we worry about them. So it's best to just focus on the now and do what we have to do today without worrying about the future. If you want to think about the future, think in positive terms, because you will attract positivity. And, that's how miracles actually happen. When people believe, when you take two people who, suffer from a great illness, they have the same symptoms, the same diagnosis, and then one person dies and the other one is fully healed. Why does that happen? It's because one person believes, when they go to those healing places, they visit, there's one in France, I forgot the name, a really famous one, where people go when they are really ill. And some people get fully cured. There are people who couldn't walk and started walking. Why? Because they believe, because they have such a strong belief.
Maggie, may I interject for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I want to go back to what Cheryl's question was on how can you change your vibration? And I know that there's a lot of different ways to do it, Cheryl, but one of the ways you can do it, because when you're in a low vibration, generally we're focusing on that whatever's happening, like Maggie said, circumstances, whatever's happening to us, whatever's happening around us, our environment, whatever, how we're feeling, if we're sick, we've been, struggling with COVID, we've been struggling with all these things going on. So of course our vibration is going to be low, and our goals and dreams are always on a higher vibration than where we are if we're in a lower frequency. And so we do have to raise up to those higher frequencies. One of the ways that that we can raise up to our higher frequencies is to really start getting into a flow of ease. And how you do that is you can just take a few minutes to start saying, and I literally mean like maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and that's a long time when you're doing it, but to literally just say everything that you're grateful for. and start focusing on, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for the house I'm in. I'm grateful that I have electricity and I have running water, and I'm grateful for the sun that's shining right now. And I'm grateful for my children, and I'm grateful for, and you just continue to get into this, a cycle of gratefulness. And when you do that, I mean, they've done studies on the brain, and literally the whole brain will change when you start focusing on the positive and things that you're grateful for, rather than just, and I'm not talking about sitting in a slump, but because things are real and things, happen that are hard and that hurt. But in order to change that, gratefulness actually can change our chemical makeup.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, gratitude is a big thing for me as well. I actually have a gratitude journal, and I do it every evening. Some people prefer to do it every morning. Just write at least 10 things that you are grateful for.
Mhm.
And you'll be amazed how many things you can find. There was this guy, I can't remember his name now, but he was homeless. So he had nothing. He was sleeping on benches. But he found a pen, and he was grateful that he found that pen so he could write his gratitude. He's now a multimillionaire through using the same process. But this is how gratitude, how important gratitude is, because when we are feeling down, we think, everything is against us, nothing is working the way we want it. We sort of tend to think our situation is hopeless. But this is not the case. When you look at it from another perspective, there's so many things that every one of us can find that we could be grateful for.
Absolutely.
And gratitude is huge. So thank you, Debbie, for bringing that up.
It really is. It really is. I saw Natasha had her hand raised.
Hey, yeah. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I made a video earlier, and it's funny that we're talking about this because the video that I was talking about was projections and how we take what society projects on us or other individuals project on us. And it goes hand in hand with the limiting beliefs. And we kind of adopt these feelings as our own, like this is who we are. And really becoming aware of why you're in the state that you're in and why you feel the way that you feel and why you believe you are who you are. Just uncovering all of that, because when I tell you that, like Deb and I, we talked about this before, on paper, I am like a foster care statistic. And, I have all of these crazy experiences. And even so, like, I still managed to beat the odds. I still fought to overcome, these circumstances. And I was able to pull myself out of it by just developing self-awareness and not adopting other people's beliefs as my own. I don't have to be poor because I was homeless. I don't have to, be poor because I didn't graduate high school. Like, society tells us all these things. This is who you are. This is where you belong because of the things that we've been through. And when you really start becoming aware of why you think you are who you are, you can kind of start breaking those cycles.
That's great.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
So true. That's perfect.
We should not be defined by our circumstances. We are not defined by our circumstances. One of the things that I have on my desk here is a flip. It's not really a calendar, but it's a flip thing for sayings. And today's saying, it says, God never consults your past to determine your future. So we shouldn't either, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And what I wanted to add again to Shadow's question, how to sort of go into higher vibration, is to think about your goal and who you want to become. Just keep that image constantly in front of your eyes. Live there. If things tend to go wrong on the physical, live in your mind, because eventually that image will become real. The more you persistently stay there in your mind, in that dream, it will become your reality. So that's why it's so important to act as if. That's
actually
the main
my
thing.
favorite strategy.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite strategy. Yep.
Yeah.
And I really think that before we, one of the things that I do believe, and I don't know if we've discussed this, is you don't necessarily, I don't think that you should share your goals with people. I don't think that you should share your dreams with just anybody. It's too easy for people to shoot down or shoot negative energy towards you, or to not believe, or you just don't need that. But what I would really suggest that we do is, before you leave this call today, really hold an image in your mind of what it is that you want and who it is that you are becoming, because we're always in change, right? We're not stagnant when we shouldn't stay stagnant. So who is it that you truly are becoming? And hold that image before we get off the phone, or as we're talking, just hold that image so that you're connecting with your goal.
Yeah.
That's
Also,
important.
and it is also, it's very important to sort of completely review the way we are living, because when you want to become somebody, when you want to become your best version of yourself, you have to start with where you are now. This is your starting point. So we have to completely review the way we are living, and then decide what we want to change in our life. And it's a big work, It's not something that you can do by spending 10 minutes with pen and paper. It's a process. So, and people tend to think, okay, I would love to be that, I would love to be a millionaire, and that's it. But you have to be very specific, okay? You have to have that plan in your head, trying to imagine, how would I live if I already got there? What time do I wake up? What do I do? If I've got a big villa, am I going with a swimming pool? Do I go for a swim first? This is how specific you have to be. And then read it every day. Some people say do it 3 times a day, but, if you do it sort of once every morning and before you go to sleep, once you've got that image in your mind, you won't have to read it. But, there's so many details that we have to think of. If you are at the moment, I don't know, working really hard, have to wake up early, go to work, think from a different perspective that you don't have to wake up. You wake up, at the time you want to wake up, and you do the things that you love doing. And you have to incorporate it in your daily routine. And that's how you identify the way you want to live. That's where the changes, you will see what changes you have to make in your life. And then see which ones you can start doing right now. Okay, you may think, okay, when I become a multimillionaire, every day, I don't know, I'll be able to go for walks, long walks that I don't do any at the moment. Start with that, and that will become your habit first. And then slowly you will keep changing every single bit of your life. That's how I change. I used to run around like crazy in my property business, driving to London and back and being really stressed. And then I've decided I don't want to do that anymore. I still want to run this business, but I don't want to I don't want to be like, driving there every day. I want to have more freedom, more flexibility. And it happened. I was visualizing it. I visualized that I wake up and I don't have to go there. I'm going to make a few phone calls. And actually, I doubled my income by working a lot less. And it's all, it just happened. I didn't have any strategy how I'm going to do it. I just thought, this is how I want to live. And by thinking about it, trusting the process, because for some people, if you were to say this to, I don't know, a person who has never heard about this, they may say you are crazy, you better just get a job and do what you have to do. But this is not true, These are the facts based on I don't know what other people are saying. But this is not the truth. So trust in your truth, because you know that you are capable of anything that you want. And everyone has got different desires. So it's not like, everyone wants to become a multimillionaire. People have different desires. So every desire is specific. The life you want to live is yours. And that's what you have to care about. That's what you have to design for yourself. But the facts are nothing. They have to be ignored. So don't listen to other people. Just ignore present circumstances. Work on your dream. because we are the creators and we create our reality. And it happens to me over and over again. And obviously, you know, it happened with one house, with another house, with so many things that I didn't have a slightest clue how I'm going to do it. Even with buying my first home, I didn't have a clue how I was going to do that. But I just knew that I wanted a house. And it happened. And when you think about it all the time, when you stay there, when you dream about it, when you wash your dishes, no matter where you stand and you think that you are in your dream home, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, but you have to believe in the process. And trust is everything.
Yeah, you have to have that targeted, you have to have that definiteness of purpose. So you have to have that targeted vision, and that's where you stay.
Yeah, so this is our work, you know, this is actually, it is a lot of work for you, for all of us. You know, I'm reviewing my image constantly because there are things that you would want to change once you get to a certain stage of being, well, actually, I could have gone for something better, right? Because we tend to go, okay, I think I can do that. So it's sort of, it feels more comfortable for us to set lesser goals rather than go for the really big thing.
Mm-hmm.
But once you realize that it's working, there's no limits.
If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel. We create lots and lots of transformational content to help you break through to the next level in your life where you really want to go.